we'll discuss the latent and manifest functions as given by Robert Merton. We all have gone through a stage in our lives when people ask us certain questions, and we often think, why are they asking us this? For example, after acquiring a certain age, we are constantly asked by elders, when are you getting married? When are you getting a job? When are you having kids? Etc. etc. So, what happens is that these institutions like marriage, like divorce, like many other, like religion, they bring some kind of order, unity in the society, and they ask for the participation of members in the society. Therefore, the society becomes what it is and it gets established. So, the problem here is between the structure and function that we often forget about. For example, the person who was asked, when are you getting married? He gets frustrated. Why am I being asked about my marriage? What is this thing about marriage? He might think that this is very orthodox on the part of the elder person who constantly keeps asking about marriage. But the thing about marriage or any kind of institution is it serves a certain purpose. For example, marriage, when we see about it, it can serve the function of having a family or having economic stability or procreation and many other things. So these functions were categorized by Merton into latent and manifest. Manifest functions are the ones that we can see. So just imagine that you see a tree in front of you. When we look at a tree, we can see the beautiful branches, the leaves, and everything over the top. But we cannot look at the roots. Even if they are very deep into the soil, we cannot look at them. We can only look at the tree. So the tree are like the branches are the manifest functions, the functions that we can see. And the roots, they are like the latent functions which we cannot see. So these manifest functions, they are expected from us. They are recognized in the society, and the members of the society, they expect the institutions that are there in the society to fulfill these functions, and these functions are intended. And when the person does this kind of engages in this kind of a function, he is aware of the consequences. For example, if I am going to a school, I am aware that I will get education there. It is expected from me to go to school, to learn, to become a better person, and it is expected from the school as an institution to give education to the members of the society. And the latent functions, on the other hand, they are unexpected, unintended. People are not aware of them and they may have unforeseen consequences. Now we'll understand this with an example. So Merton, he studied the rain dance ceremony of Hopi Indians, and with this you will understand the latent and manifest functions. So what they did was they gathered around the sea and they called for a ceremony where they pelt the stones in the sky, and they believed that the stone will burst the clouds in the sea and the rain will follow, it will fall down. So when they are doing this, the manifest function, what they can see is to bring down the rain. Rain will follow when they pelt stones at the sky, and when rain comes, the harvest will be safe, they will have a good harvest. But what are the latent functions that they did not see? That was revitalizing solidarity. So when you are meeting at the same place time and again, and gathering around with each other, participating in a ritual together, what does it do? It strengthens your unity, it revitalizes your solidarity. Now we can apply this theory in school education as well. When a child goes to school, what does the parent expect and what does the child expect? Education, learning, getting degrees, certificates, and eventually getting a job. But what are the latent functions? Latent functions are socializing. When he goes to the school, he meets his friends, he meets the teachers, he learns new things, gets experiences, confidence, becomes a responsible citizen when he knows about his rights, he gets aware of his surroundings, of what is there beyond his understanding as well. So these are the latent functions. Now, he has also given the concept of dysfunctions. So, what is this dysfunction? So, as we just discussed, there can be two functions of any institution, that is latent or manifest. But what happens when this kind of a function it acts against the society? It becomes a dysfunction. So, dysfunction are those observed consequences which lessen or reduce the adaptation or adjustment to the system. For example, for many people, live-in relationship can be a dysfunction. Why? Because it takes away the adults from getting married. They reduce their belief and their sort of unwillingness to get married, and they choose for a secondary institution like live in. And caste can also act as a dysfunction. So when we talk about caste, we think that we all can live together and we are secular and there is fraternity and everything, but caste can also be played in the reverse direction. For example, it can create dysfunction like taking two castes opposite of each other and making them fight, telling them how they are very different, how one is being favored and the other is not. So it can question the true meaning of our democracy. It can reduce our essential qualities of the society like democracy, participation, egalitarianism. So these are the problems or the dysfunctions that we have discussed about. Now, coming to the criticism of this theory, first is it is difficult to find latent function every time. So there are many institutions and sociological beliefs, superstitions, and many other things. So it is not always possible to find the latent function. It is not objective. You have to be subjective to understand these things, and it can get very deep. It can also justify the wrongs like orthodoxy and superstition. So maybe your grandmother tells you not to get your hair cut on Saturday or something else, not to do this because of some kind of superstition, and they can justify it by telling a latent function about it. This theory also justifies status quo, that is, keeping things as they are. So it cannot justify the changes that are happening in the modern society. We can take another example like yoga. So, what we know about the manifest functions of yoga are that it helps in creating good health and good body, active, alert, all of these things. But the manifest functions the latent functions can be when we promote yoga in one country, people also get influenced and it becomes a global phenomena. So that is the latent function of that. Now we'll discuss some questions. Question number one, here's an assertion. Religion acts like a last resort and eases one's anxiety. So you must have heard of people going to temples and praying to God, please save me, I have my exam tomorrow, I haven't studied, or my husband is not well, my family member is not well, please help me. So this is a kind of institution that religion acts like a last resort. The reason given here is one of the latent functions of religion is to provide solace. Yes, one of the latent functions of religion is to provide solace. It also can enhance the solidarity, the unity among the people. So the answer will be option number one. Both A and R are correct, and R is the correct explanation of the assertion. Coming to the second question, cricket has damaged other games like football or hockey, which are relatively neglected by the media. So, because of the coverage of cricket, the other sports have suffered because of the media. Media has favored cricket. The reason, it is a manifest function of media. So the assertion is correct. Cricket has gotten a lot of fame, and the other sports have suffered because of it, although the conditions are changing now. But the reason is wrong. It is not the manifest function of media, it is the dysfunction of media. Because the manifest function of media is to provide us knowledge. The latent function of media can be, making us aware of what others may try to hide, giving us information and many other things like that, which are always positive, because media basically plays a positive role in our life. So this is not the manifest function, this is the dysfunction of media.